If you can dream it, it can become your reality. Welcome to Dreamcatchers, where we meet entrepreneurs who have left their home country to move to Costa Rica and start a business in paradise. These are real people and their real stories behind following their dreams to a little Central American paradise and how they made it work despite the odds. Welcome to Dreamcatchers Costa Rica.
Hi everyone, welcome to Dreamcatchers Costa Rica. On today's episode, we're going to be talking to Laetitia Deweer. She is the owner of CEPIA Costa Rica, which is a non-profit organization here in Guanacaste. She's going to let us know what brought her here and her dreams to open up this amazing foundation. Hi everybody, thank you for joining us today on this episode of Dreamcatchers Costa Rica. Today we're here with Laetitia Deweer that basically runs and created CEPIA, which is a non-profit organization here in Guanacaste. So thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you for the invitation.
So basically we're going to ask you lots of questions, but my first question is, why did you decide to move to Costa Rica in the first place? Why Costa Rica?
Well, I think it's kind of a family story. I moved because my parents and my brother decided to move a couple of years before me, and I really wanted to be with them and enjoy the lifestyle and all the good things that they were telling me about Costa Rica. So as soon as I stepped out of university or I graduated, I just jumped on the plane and to be with my family in the first place.
So how many years were your family here before you
Like
arrived?
4 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they were telling you about Costa Rica for 4 years and finally you said, okay, I'm coming.
Yes, they opened a small boutique hotel and they were very happy with the business, the lifestyle. My brother is a surfer, so all the stories were amazing. And when I arrived to see them, I actually worked in the family business for a whole year.
Oh wow!
Together
At the B&B?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, with my brother, my parents, all together, the four of us.
Wow.
My brother taught me how to surf, and it was actually an amazing experience. Tough to work with your family, but it was memorable. And but then I chose a different path.
So tell me about Sephia. I mean, what was the inspiration behind this? And this is something that you created.
Yes, so that's about 16 years ago. I think it came because in the first place, as I said, I was working in the family business, but every Saturday, it was my weekend free, and every Saturday I would go to volunteer in the local shelter in Santa Cruz, in a kind of an orphanage. And because I studied family education and psychology, I really wanted to stay in touch with my vocation, my profession. So they were very happy that I was organizing all kinds of activities for the kids there, and I could speak Spanish fluently. So it was a beautiful experience that lasted like a year. And it was also, for me, an opportunity to know the local culture, to understand why kids end up in this kind of situation and shelter. And I really felt like, hey, we might want to prevent this, and that's how it really came, through these children, what they taught me, what the whole system taught me. And also I like to live in the center of the village. I rented a little Tico house, and I really live with the people. And that's also how I saw that the kids at that time, 16 years ago, there were no computers, there was no sport activities or arts, and a lot of things were missing for these kids to really have opportunities and learn more and be exposed to all kinds of interesting activities. So that's how it all started, actually.
That's amazing. So can you explain a little bit to everybody that's watching this what Sephia offers to the community and perhaps how others can help?
So Sephia promotes culture, education, health, and participation of children, teenagers, families, adults from poor backgrounds here in Guanacaste, Costa Rica. So we have a whole array of programs, like 15 programs. So people can actually volunteer and support us in any of these programs. So it goes from after-school classes for kids, sports, arts, English, girls clubs, so all kinds of activities for kids in their communities. But we also have an intervention center here in our community center for high-risk kids, so kids that live in vulnerable situations. So people can also be with us here at the community center. And then we work also with moms, women that live in difficult conditions, but want to get out of it and really want to get the right support and learn new things, new skills, so they can eventually develop their own little business in their house or in their village. But also, sometimes it also goes through psychological support and just, sisterhood. We promote a lot of support and sisterhood among women. It's very important for us. And then, we work with kids with special needs. I mean, there is such an amazing array of programs that most of the people always find a way of helping out.
Do you think that the thing that we're missing in Guanacaste is education? Do you think that's the one mitigating factor, let's say, why there's such a divide?
Yeah, I think that education is a central component and keystone for society to really, get human capital that is really, prepared to do what your vocation is, and the market has place for everyone, but the skills that are needed are important. And I think that education, of course, a better quality of education for children is needed. But also education and technical training for adults, and this is where Sephia is also working hard. We have technical trainings for adults, from sailing course all the way to electricity, air conditioning. So this is a part where we feel together with the government, we believe that together with the business sector, so we partner with private businesses, with the government and Sephia to really create these courses so we really can bridge the gap, so people can get the skills but also find a place on the market.
So on top of obviously people, if they want to volunteer their time, donate goods, things obviously that are needed within the community, what else, obviously cash donations are welcome. Obviously you have a budget, but how is it covered? Is it solely donations? Mm-hmm. I know you said that you weren't able to have events this year, so I'm just trying to, how can somebody help you keep afloat? Because what you do is really amazing.
Thank you. But it has been a very tough 2 years with the pandemic, so no fundraising events. So that was, that is still, an important problem, and we hope that people will give us, more financial donations to bridge that gap, we have now. We get support from the government. We get about $300,000 from the government every year, but we still need to fundraise $400,000 every year. So we do this with fundraisers, but we also do this through, with private donations, but also some important businesses or international organizations also support us. It's all about grant writing and writing proposals to the right people. So it's a constant work, and the more people that contribute, the easier our work is, but also the more we can expand, because we would like to expand our programs to more areas. Right now it's 23 communities that benefit from our programs, but we would really like to see more communities, receive all this beautiful, support and these volunteers and all the people, and businesses that want to get involved.
In terms of employees, how many full-time employees do you have here at Sephia?
So we have 4 admin people, and then we have 11 teachers, psychologists, social worker, professionals. So these are all full-time staff. So that's about 16 people that we have on staff, and we have about 90 volunteers.
Wow, that's amazing. In terms of the programs that are offered here at the center, what types of programs do you offer? What types of age groups? I know obviously it's a variety of different people here. So.
Yeah, we have programs for very small kids, from 2 years old all the way to 17. So the small kids are kids who have difficult situations at home. So their mom is analphabet, or she lives in extreme poverty, or there is issues around violence in the home. So we make sure that the child is with us and receives all the support during the day, and that he or she's not in danger. But definitely there is a beautiful network of support, a support system around the child, from education all the way to health. And then, so all the way to the teenagers. And the teenagers, our group is a tough group because they dropped out of school, they have all kinds of, challenges. They've not always received the best, opportunities. They've, grew up in difficult neighborhoods or difficult families. So here in this center, they're exposed to beautiful, activities inside our center. They go outside. They go on a catamaran. They go, walking in nature with us. They go visit places they would never see before. So they're really exposed to a lot of opportunities and different perspectives.
So basically, it's not just about being in here and learning, but also taking them outside of their typical daily environment so they can explore their own country and appreciate all the nature and amazing things that we have here.
Yes, all the children from 2 years old, teenagers, but also the adult program, we all bring them in contact with the outside world, with outside businesses, because we believe that if they can see what's going on and they can hear, what it means to work in such a business, and employees from these businesses share their stories. So it's a very interesting way of opening minds and creating a certain form of connection and a hope for possibility. And we also have regenerative agriculture projects. So we do regenerative agriculture with adults. So our children also visit the community gardens, which is also an amazing project that was born out of the pandemic. So people could learn how to grow their own food, and also, it's very healthy for the mind and for the body to work in the garden.
No, and I think it's also fun, to learn these things. So.
Yes.
Can you tell me a little bit about you? Obviously, we know you speak 4 languages. We're English, Spanish, Dutch, and French, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And then, which is, I asked you if you're going to speak a 5th language, but that 4 is a lot. So we've got that, and obviously your background, if you can tell us a little bit about your background and your family.
Yes, so I was born in Belgium, and I went to school in Belgium in Dutch, but at home we spoke French, so that's where I learned 2 languages at once. And then at university I studied in Belgium family education, and then when I moved to Costa Rica I continued studying clinical psychology and breathwork. And then I also had the opportunity to be part of the Central American Leadership Program from the Aspen Institute, which was an amazing opportunity, which I'm still part of. So yeah, it has been an amazing journey and a very humbling journey too, because I come from a very wealthy country with a lot of opportunities. So it was also a way for me to really take all these learnings and really give back from everything I've gotten in life. I'm very grateful. And I also feel always very humbled by, the women and the kids, they have, severe challenges where they come from, and they have an amazing strength. And, I feel always very humbled and very inspired by the people I work with here.
I always say, we complain about things, and sometimes our complaints are very small scale compared to what a lot of other people are going through. And so I think it's so important to give back or volunteer time. Actually, many years ago, I don't know if you remember, I taught English. I started with the smaller kids, like 5th grade, and then decided I thought I had a little bit more patience for
That's like
adults.
10 years ago,
It was
right?
a long time ago,
Yeah,
but I really enjoyed it. And I think that people, they always ask about how can I get involved, and I think that, it's good for them to know that they can do these things.
Yes, I think like you, I think the experience you had, and we have many foreigners who just give 1 or 2 hours every week, and they teach English, they teach all kinds of sports, and it's an amazing experience because I think it teaches you the local culture, but it also creates a real connection with the local people, and at the same time, I think you feel more happy when you give back and when you are of service to others.
Without a doubt. So when you started this, did you find that it was very challenging, since you do have to deal with the government more so than some of the other folks that are on our show that have private, businesses? What did you feel was most challenging at first?
I think at first, of course, I'm a foreigner, so the challenge is to, be accepted, and I think speaking the language was an asset. But I think it's also, I believe in teamwork. I think there is nothing I've done by myself what CEPIA concerns, and I think that I think the locals who were part of my team from the beginning, and all the people that joined afterwards, I think they really were strong advocates for CEPIA. And I think as a team, we could convince the local village to give us the land to build the community center, all the way to the high national government to support us in many programs that we do with them. So I think it has been really a teamwork. And challenges definitely are also, we live in a country with a difficult bureaucratic system.
Yes.
So the administration and the amount of paperwork and sometimes the lack of clarity inside the governmental institutions about what they're expecting exactly, there is a lack of clarity. So sometimes it's a lot of work and a lot of going back and forth. So I think you develop a lot of patience and perseverance. So I think out of challenges you always also get a lot of things that you can work for yourself.
Absolutely. You know? So despite the challenges, are you happy that you did this?
Oh yes, I'm very grateful for my parents that they brought us to Costa Rica. I will never thank them enough, for making that big jump. They were in their early 40s when they did the move, so that's 25 years ago. Now they're retired, but yeah, I love this country. I'm a citizen now, and it's my home. I don't regret it for a moment, and I get a lot of satisfaction from the work. It's very tough, it's tough work, but I feel that it fills my heart.
Oh, that's what it's all about. So in terms of when you have a moment off, when you have a day off, what do you like to do?
Yeah, I take my Sundays and even sometimes the whole weekend. That happens. So sometimes people think I'm working all the time.
No, we have to take time. What do you like to do?
No, I'm all about self-care. I think you cannot be a good leader or a good business person or whatever you do in life if you don't take care of yourself, right? So yes, I love to be in the water, of course.
Surfing?
Surfer, yes. 15 years. The water and the ocean has been for me an amazing place, to heal, to recover, but also to just find peace, to connect with my family and friends. I also practice yoga. My mom is a yoga teacher, so I've been blessed also to do, have yoga in my life. Meditation, I believe we teach meditation and mindfulness to all the children here and the adults. So I think it's one of the tools that I believe can really make a difference in your life. And then, I think I also try to, hang out with friends and enjoy nature in Costa Rica.
Yeah, because obviously that's what a lot of other people have said on the shows is that after some time we go traveling around Costa Rica because there's so many amazing places. Do you, obviously I know you have a lot of help, much like me, we have a great team, right? You have a great team. Do you feel like Sephia will expand? I know you said that 23 communities benefit from this. Do you feel like your hope for the future would be to expand into different areas?
I'm connected with a group that's called the Nicoya Peninsula Community Fund. Okay. So they're trying to start an important fund so we can really support many more organizations and also bring the CEPIA programs and the knowledge and wisdom of all these 16 years to more communities through different organizations, because it's all about collaboration and creating a collective. And we will probably focus on children and women in the first place. But yes, I would really love to share all this knowledge and all this learned experience to more people and more organizations, and of course eventually also expand CEPIA in more communities. So I think it's all depending on how much support and funding that we can get from local people and foreigners and internationals.
Why did you decide on Guanacaste and specifically in this area? Obviously Guanacaste is a really central location, but obviously I know your parents were here and that obviously, but in terms of having the facility here in Guanacaste, what was the
well, I think that Guanacaste is the second poorest province of our country. So we have definitely a high rate of poverty and extreme poverty, too high. And but at the same time, we have a beautiful development. We have amazing opportunities for people. So I think that I saw that again, creating that bridge to make sure that people could really work in this area. And I think that and doing something about poverty here. So it's an area that really needs the support to really develop in the right way, so we don't have a huge gap. And I think that we create more shared resources and shared wealth.
Correct. No, that's great. How do you feel Costa Rica has changed over the years? Do you feel like it's easier? We've been here for about the same amount of time, so I know we've seen a lot of changes, but what's your opinion on, you know, the changes, and if you feel like it's easier or harder to live here now?
I think there are things that are easier and there are things that are harder.
Yeah, I agree.
I think the easier part is that there is more, the government is more digital. There is, you know, more there are more facilities. You know, yes, there are so many services now that we have access to better medical care. That we didn't have a hospital in Guanacaste. We didn't have an airport.
We didn't have a grocery store.
We had to travel to 1 hour to Santa Cruz to go to a big supermarket. So definitely, you know, it's more relaxed to live, and it's more services, you know, more quality of life, you know, for us. At the same time, I think the difficulties are that we have more traffic. Yes, we have more traffic. Sometimes, of course, nature has to, you know, give up against development, so it's sometimes hard to see that, but at the same time it's inevitable that, you know, we need to make some space for people to live. So there's definitely tension, but I feel like, you know, if people do things right, the government, but also the foreigners and the locals who all live here, that they create a space to live that is in harmony with nature. And I think, you know, still keeping nature alive in our properties, with trees, with the bridges for the monkeys, you know, making a useful and a respectful use of water and electricity. So if we have conscious people and conscious development, I think it's possible to actually not have that tension.
Guys, thank you so much. I want to thank you so much, Leticia, for being on the show with us. What she does is amazing, and I want you guys to help and not only subscribe to our YouTube channel, but also help support this amazing organization, Sephia, and we'll put the info on our YouTube detail. Thanks again, and por ahí, guys.